You did like 2 days ago.
KSI?
Yeah, but he didn't reply. He didn't reply.
Well, he's learned, hasn't he?
You'll be living the dream soon.
I really like the idea that, like, he didn't know that... I'm going to sound like such a... He didn't know that you had more aura than him.
So, obviously released Launchly, and DanTDM replied. This is what he had to say.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore.
DanTDM saw something in KSI that most people didn't. And when he called it out, KSI immediately came for him. But Dan wasn't talking about KSI's personality or his music or his boxing. He was talking about what KSI was becoming. KSI, MrBeast, and Logan Paul had just launched Lunchables, and DanTDM wasn't impressed. He believed they were using their influence to sell products to kids. So Dan did something very simple. He called them out. On September 16th, 2024, DanTDM posted this on X. He said, "What happened to YouTubers, man?" He said they were selling stuff just for the sake of making money. And he asked how any of this actually benefited their fans. And Dan had no idea how badly KSI was about to react.
DanTDM replied. This is what he had to say.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better. Do better.
Oh, wow.
KSI didn't stop at defending Lunchley.
Looks like crap to me while showing his toys that he sold to kids. How does this benefit your fans, Dan?
But KSI wasn't finished. He wanted to show Dan why he thought the criticism was hypocritical.
I realized that I was shining a mirror in his face. Instead, they were like,
wait, you did the same as Dan. You made toys with Tube Heroes.
and yes, that's fair, but I'm not the one complaining. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? At this point, his fans imploded.
But there was one problem with KSI's argument. Dan was criticizing them for selling a product to their audience, and KSI's answer was basically, "You've done something similar before." That completely changed the argument, because now this wasn't just about Lunchley anymore. It became a question of whether YouTubers can criticize each other for making money from their audiences. KSI then went even further. He pointed out that other creators had also launched food products. So why was Lunchley getting so much criticism?
Lunchley, so it's not the same.
Okay, cool. Where was the same energy when Ryan Trahan released sweets? Where was the same energy when FaZe Rog released sweets? Now, I'm not throwing them under the bus because I tried both of their sweets and it's fantastic. It's actually one of the best sweets I've had in a long time, especially American sweets. It's a shame that, I can't even get it in England. But anyway, I'm not seeing people going crazy towards them on Twitter.
And this is where KSI believed the criticism wasn't really about the product. He believed people already hated him, Logan Paul and MrBeast.
I've realized why. It's because people just hate us. People just hate us. People hate Logan Paul, okay? They hate MrBeast and they hate me on Twitter, okay?
But Dan's original post wasn't about all of that. He was questioning whether creators should use the trust they've built with young audiences to sell them products. And that's what made this argument so interesting. Because KSI genuinely believed Lunchley was a better version of something millions of people were already buying, Lunchables. His argument was simple. If people are going to buy these meals anyway, why not make a better one?
Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. A turkey meal, for example, is 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. We use real cheese.
But Dan was looking at it from a completely different angle. He wasn't asking whether Lunchley was better than Lunchables. He was asking whether YouTubers should be selling this kind of product to their audience in the first place. And that difference is exactly why the situation became so much bigger than a lunchbox. What made it even crazier was what happened after the original argument.
the internet completely picked sides. Dan later talked about the whole situation and admitted that the reaction was way bigger than he expected.
I think he goes on about. I couldn't believe that. It's like,
Was it mad?
yeah, like the whole. It felt a bit Game of Thronesy. Like the whole internet like had my back, which was kind of wild.
Oh yeah, it was really cool. Was it? Were you just sat in your room?
He said the internet basically went crazy around him. And KSI, he clearly wasn't interested in backing down. Because for KSI, this wasn't just about Dan anymore. It was about the idea that YouTubers should be allowed to grow beyond YouTube.
Trying to level myself up. That's why I got Misfits. That's why I've got Prime. That's why I've got all my sidemen businesses, XIX, Sides, you know, the list goes on. You know, that's why I'm doing music. That's why I'm releasing a new song, October 4th, Thick of It, and also Low, yes.
And honestly, that's where both sides had a point. Dan was questioning the responsibility that comes with having millions of young viewers. KSI was arguing that creators shouldn't be forced to stay in one lane forever. So, did DanTDM actually see something coming with KSI? Maybe, because years before YouTubers becoming massive businesses became normal, Dan was already questioning what happens when creators start selling directly to their audience. And KSI's response showed exactly how serious that conversation had become. In the end, it wasn't really about Lunchly. It was about what happens when YouTubers stop being just YouTubers.